Let's switch gears before we round up the show tonight and talk about something that has been happening on the legislative arm of government. Both the Senate and the National Assembly have been undergoing induction just before they begin their sittings next week. And one of the first things on the agenda for our legislators has been the issue of their pay. And of course, there has been some kind of soft collision with the Salaries and Remuneration Commission, the speakers of both houses promising their members that they will be taking care of their allowances and they should have nothing to worry about. Let's listen to both the Speaker of the Senate and the National Assembly.
I undertake to robustly and as a matter of urgency engage all the relevant stakeholders, including government agencies concerned, with a view to putting in place a system that ensures honorable senators are sufficiently facilitated in order for you to discharge your oversight responsibilities successfully as spelled out in the Constitution.
We live incrementally. We don't live by reduction. Nobody in their right frame of mind will interfere with your car allowances, with your mileage reimbursements, and with your mortgage and everything else that you have been having, because that is your entitlement. A member of parliament in your constituency, you are a funeral undertaker, you are a midwife, you are an extension officer in farming, you are a vet, you are a counselor on social issues. You literally do everything. And above all, you are also the local ATM. So my leadership will ensure that we facilitate you to discharge some of these unexpected demands from the public.
All right, very quickly, we have less than 5 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. Ariba, let me begin with you.
Let me begin with where Papa Aroma
This
has
thing
left.
of pay seems to be the thing that our MPs agree on totally. What is your take on this?
My take on is that we have carried the bad behavior from the, was it the 13th Parliament? 12th. The 12th Parliament to the 13th Parliament. And it's quite ridiculous that even before the first sitting, the only discussion that we're having about parliamentarians is their pay. And that brings us to the question, what about the electorates? I mean, I have been looking at the salary scale of a member of parliament, which is 426,000 capped, which is the basic pay, 150,000 house allowance. Then remember, there are committee allowances, there are mileage claims and all that. Papa Aroma has clearly stated that an MP, as he is in the village, is all those words that he has used. For me, I feel that this is a failure at the legislature. A failure in that they have not put the structures or the laws which are required to be able to ensure that that local Mwananchi in the village, when he or she has a problem, they don't have to call their member of parliament, or they don't have to call their MPs. So it's a failure on the legislature part of it, not having come up with robust laws to be able to ensure that the social, economic well-being of the electorates is taken care of. But I feel this is a slap in the face of the electorates who voted them into office, that in the first order of business, the first discussion that members of parliament and senators are having is about the pay. I think the bad manners has been carried forward. We might not have carried forward anything else, but the bad manners definitely has been carried forward. And I don't know for how long this is going to continue. Right. But Kenyans see your leaders. The first thing they do, they talk about their pay.
Annabelle, what is your take on that argument that the MP, when they go to the village, the constituency, they are the ATM, they are the everything, so they have, which is not part of their mandate anyway?
They are all those things, but they are all those things because they allow themselves to be all those things. Like you said, it's not part of their mandate. All they have to do is say no. There are very many other channels for them to get the job done for their electorate. Like he said, they have not put statutory measures in place. Secondly, they have options because they operate at national government. They have options to lobby via the various national government institutions to get the work done for their electorate. So you don't need to give anybody money. What they're giving us here are simply excuses that are preposterous, unacceptable, and like he said, are slapping Kenyans' faces. And in addition to that, part of the induction was supposed to be the SRC chairperson, Madam Mengich, coming to speak to them about these proposals. And apparently when the acting clerk of the National Assembly got to that part of the agenda, they heckled her. So I'm asking, immaturity much? Where is the place of dialogue? Are you not supposed to have a conversation so that you come to some sort of consensus between members of parliament and the SRC? They need to do better.
All right. Kasuku, the SRC proposed to slash the allowances. The MPs are insisting on keeping them. What are your thoughts, very quickly, on this past week?
As a policy person, I would like to say that I'm very disappointed with the functionaries of government that are meant to put in place policies that address the people. The issue that we are seeing in the MPs, looking like when they arrive in the village, their pockets must be emptied, they must take care of funerals, they must take care of hospital bills, means that there is a failure in policy. We must create policy frameworks that take care of the needs of wananchi. For example, the medical issues, they need to be dealt with. If we don't deal with it, then no single MP, irrespective of how much you give them, will ever satisfy the needs of the people. If it comes to issues of, so it therefore comes to what we call, it is system versus individuality and non-conventional methods. So we need to create systems that care for the people. And in that way, we will see MPs also stopping to maybe demand some of the things they're demanding for. Because currently there's a gap. How do you bridge the gap? And I can assure you, if you go home, even you now, you are being seen on TV. When you go home, they say, I've seen Kitili, let me go and ask him something. It's not that it's the MPs alone who are the ones being asked.
So I should get some allowance for that.
So even you. So what I'm saying is that the MPs, you know, sometimes we can blame them, but we need to look deeper into society. What is causing the restlessness in the people? Because there's an element of deprivation, there's an element of a gap, there's an element of non-attendance to the issues that affect wananchi.
All right.
So we need those issues addressed through policy and through structured systems that are able to cater for them. But at the end of the day, the way things are moving around, the conversations they are having, means that maybe if there is a court ruling somewhere, or if there is a kind of a precedent that has already been set by law, then that precedent must now be put aside or set aside because there are interests to be catered for.
We'll wait and see. All right.
So those are issues that therefore need to be looked at.